Please like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback helps make the content better. Thursday, I came home with 2 bags of groceries and a case of seltzer under my arm. The living room was full. 5 women from Claire's book club, cups on coasters, shoes tucked under the coffee table. I nudged the door with my knee. "Hey," I called toward the couch. They were out of basil, so I grabbed parsley. Close enough for pasta. Nothing. 6 faces tipped past me like I was a lamp. Claire got up, walked by, took the bag from my hand without a glance, and drifted to the kitchen. Not a word. No eye contact. The other women watched the same spot on the wall, matched smiles, kept talking. I set the seltzer down a little too carefully. "Anybody need a drink?" Silence, synchronized. A blonde I'd met twice shifted her knees away from me like I took up contaminated air. Claire brushed past again carrying bowls, making a point to bump the door with her hip instead of saying, "Excuse me." I stood there, the guy with his name erased in his own house, and counted to 5. Then I counted to 10. I told myself to let it slide. Then Claire passed me again, eyes sliding along the drywall like I was part of the trim. That was the tell. This wasn't an accident. "Clear enough?" I said to the room. "You ladies enjoy the parsley." No one answered. One of them smirked into her cup like a teenager caught doing something clever. I put the seltzer in the fridge, grabbed my keys, and went out to the garage. If I'd known where it was headed, I would have bought champagne and toasted the end right there. When they finally cleared out, the house felt like an airport at midnight. Lights on, no people. Claire stacked plates with the quiet of a stage play. I leaned on the counter. "What was that?" I asked, supposed to be. She opened the dishwasher. "You're talking to yourself." Cute. She slid a rack out like she had all night. I waited. When she finally looked up, the look was textbook detached. "You've been ungrateful," she said. "We're doing a reset." "We?" Everyone in the group committed. 30 days. It's not personal. It's practice. Practice for what? She wiped a crumb with one finger. "For remembering your place. You take too much space and don't see what you have. You will. If I talk first, you'll think you win. So I'm not." I laughed once. "So you all agreed to treat me like furniture. For a month. It's for the marriage," she said, like reading off a bumper sticker. "If you value me, you'll learn to show it. You walked past me like a coat rack. That's not my problem. Until now," I told her. "Here's mine. I don't cook for people who don't see me. I don't fix things for people who pretend I'm a wall. You want 30 days? Great. I'm taking them too." She closed the dishwasher and stared back like it was a chess move. "You won't keep it up. You always fold. Put a pin in that." She turned to go and tossed over her shoulder. "If I break the silence first, you'll think you're in charge." "You already told me that," I said. It sounded smarter the first time. She stopped, hand on the doorway. "You're angry?" "Not yet." I picked up my camera bag from the chair. "But I will be if we pretend this is normal. And Claire, if you try to police me with your friends, do it with better actors. They're off by a beat." She left the room without a word. In the hallway, I heard the tiny buzz of a group text going out. The next morning, I started my version. I made my own breakfast. I washed my own plate. I took my coffee to the garage and drew a line through the old chores list on the pegboard with a Sharpie. I moved my cameras from the hallway shelf to the locked Pelican case and put the key on my ring. In our shared calendar, I deleted myself from her dinner party on Saturday and added a block, studio, private. I stopped checking the shared account for the grocery budget and moved my paycheck to my individual account. When Claire saw the transfer, she hovered in the doorway. "You're being ridiculous," she said. "That's the word," I told her, zipping my case. "New setup. I'll cover the mortgage like always. The rest? Separate. I'll send you a clean spreadsheet tonight so you can plan without me. That's not how we do money. That was before I was invisible. You're punishing me." "I'm protecting me." I stood up. "Also, stop using my email for house stuff. I'll be changing passwords today." She gave a short breath through her nose, the sound she makes when the waiter gets the order wrong. "This isn't a game, Nate." "Agree," I said, brushing past. "It's a boundary." At the studio downtown, Evan was already there, the kid I mentored who still calls me sir half the time. He looked up from the light stand. "You look like you slept in your truck," he said. "I slept in my bed," I answered. "My bed slept in a cold front." "What happened?" "Domestic theater," I said, mounting a lens. "Something with a book club and a silent treatment with rules. I've been demoted to a chair." He winced. Do you want me to hit mute on your phone? You keep checking it. I set the phone face down. No, I'm done performing. He squinted at me. You gonna talk to her? I did. She gave me a script. I walked off stage. Evan nodded, the way a guy nods who's watched an older man choose his spine. All right then. What's the plan? Work, I said. Also, I'm reorganizing my time. Saturdays are mine again. No more couples things unless I accept them. Clean calendar. Clean budget. A few hours later, around lunch, Claire came by the studio. She didn't text first. She just appeared in the doorway with a paper bag. I brought you food, she said, stepping inside like it was hers. You've been eating garbage. I took the bag, lifted the lid on a plastic container. Chicken and rice. She rested her palm on the table like she meant to look supportive. First soft turn, the easy fix, food, a visit, the show of care. I watched her face, then the door behind her. Thanks, I said. Leave it on the counter. That's it. Her fingers drummed once on the wood. I'm in the middle of a set. It's not a war, Nate. I didn't start one, I told her. You invited your team to my living room and tried to teach me a lesson. It's not a lesson. It's structure. You run over me all the time. Evan slid past to the storage closet. Claire lowered her voice. Can we just reset? Maybe you could say thank you more. Take initiative with dates. Small stuff. I'll make you a deal, I replied. When you want to talk, you look me in the eye. When you want me at a thing, you ask. If you pick a tactic that makes me ashamed to be in my own house, you host it elsewhere. That's dramatic, she said. I'm a simple man, I said. I matched the room. She shifted, then took a step closer. I still love you. I held her gaze a second. Didn't say it back. We'll see how we do. Her face pulled tight. You didn't say it. I don't repeat lines on cue. She set her jaw. Okay, 30 days then. She turned to go. Don't starve yourself to prove a point. Never my style. When she left, Evan poked his head out. That a truce. That was bait, I said, and went back to work. 2 days later, neighbor talk. Mrs. Patel caught me by the mailbox while I was hauling a box of old frames out to the curb. I saw the girls in your living room, she said gently. Everyone looked very serious. Book club, I answered. Apparently I'm the book. She clicked her tongue. A marriage is not a classroom. Thanks, I said. Noted. That night, Claire stood at the kitchen counter with the budget spreadsheet open. I put my keys in the bowl. You've locked me out of the accounts, she said. I gave you your own card and moved your car insurance to your name. The mortgage auto draft stays on me. Everything else is yours. You won't have to ask me for anything. That's not partnership. Partnership isn't using my email to accidentally filter out gallery contacts, I said. She flinched, quick, small. Yeah, I noticed some newsletters I didn't sign up for. My inbox got loud. Your fingerprints were on the filter rules. You're imagining things. I'll confirm. You're turning this into math to avoid feelings. I like math, I said. It doesn't lie. She closed the laptop with 2 fingers. You make everyone think you're so generous. But I'm the one who runs the life. You do a lot, I said. And I've said thank you. But I'm not your teenager. And I'm not your prop. Her mouth thinned. If I cave now, you'll think you're right about everything. I don't need to be right about everything, I told her. Just about 1 or 2 things that matter. She held my eyes like we were arm wrestling. Then she stepped back. Fine. 30 days. You keep saying that, I said. Say it into a calendar. The 6th night, I was up late retouching a set for a corporate client. I opened my email to send a gallery pitch I'd been dragging my feet on. I typed gallery into the search bar and got a black hole. Almost nothing since last October, which I knew was wrong. I'd pitched 3 series since then. I clicked filters. There was a rule I didn't write. If sender contains gallery, move to promotions. Another, if subject contains submission, mark as read. A third one, uglier. If body contains showing or representation, archive. My hand hung over the mouse. I clicked the archive. A stack of messages lit up. 4 from Hudson Ridge Gallery. 2 from a rep I'd met at an event. 1 from a small place in Santa Fe. The oldest one read, Loved your Machinist Hand series. Are you available for a spring group show? The most recent said, following up one last time. We assumed you weren't interested. My name was on all of them. My inbox had been trained to ignore the front door. I stared at the screen, and the part of me that still wanted to excuse things went quiet. This wasn't an off day. This was design. I forwarded the most recent to my new address, attached files, dialed the rep's number from the signature. She answered on the second ring. Nate Davis, I said. You emailed me in May. I didn't see it. Are you still booking? She paused, measured. We tried a few times. My calendar's tight, but if your pieces are ready, I can look again. They're ready. I'll drive them in tomorrow. Tomorrow at 3, she said. Bring 5 prints. I hung up and took screenshots of the filter rules. I stood, stretched my back, and looked at the closed bedroom door. Then I packed the prints, wrapped them, loaded them into the truck, and put the camera case on the passenger seat. In the morning, while coffee dripped, I dialed a number a friend had given me months ago. Marissa, the woman answered. Family law. Consultation, I said. Not urgent in the legal sense. Urgent in the respect sense. Tomorrow 10? Done. Claire came into the kitchen in slippers. Hair up, checked the counter, and then me. You're up early. Heading out? I told her. For what? Work. On a Saturday? She poured coffee. We were supposed to go to the Petersons' barbecue. I took myself off that list. You didn't ask. I don't ask to leave rooms that treat me like furniture. Her eyes cooled. You're being petty. I'm being clear, I said. Keep your plan. I've got mine. At the gallery, I handed over prints. The curator took 30 minutes, looked twice, and pulled 2 aside. These 2, she said, tapping the corner with a short nail. The hands with the grease, and the welding mask in profile. March group shows full, but I can squeeze you into July. We'll want a bio and a statement. Email works, I said. She smiled, half a real one. Use your own. On the way back, I called Evan from a gas station. When, he asked. July, I said. It's on. He let out a whoop I could hear over the cars. Let's go. I pulled into our driveway at noon. The barbecue across the street was ramping up. Kids running with chalk, folding chairs on the lawn. Claire stood with Tessa from her book club, both of them leaning close like conspirators. I walked up our steps with the prints back in the tube and the new emails hitting my inbox. Tessa spotted me first. Oh, the handyman's back. I looked straight at Claire. We done playing silent movies? She blinked. Showed teeth. If you need attention, go pet the neighbor's dog. Attention is for children, I said. I'm after respect. Tessa made a small laugh. He still doesn't get it. I didn't look at her. Claire, new information. I found filters in my email moving gallery messages to nowhere. The curator booked me today, without the benefit of your system. Tessa raised her brows. Claire's jaw set. You're paranoid, she said. I have screenshots. Tessa nudged her. Are you serious? Claire didn't answer. People were starting to look over. I kept my voice normal. New rule, I said. We stop using my accounts for house admin today. I already changed the passwords. You'll get a list of what's moved. She shook her head like I told a joke badly. Wow. So we're going to make this a public scene. No, I answered. We're making it a public boundary, so there's no confusion later. Mrs. Patel stepped onto her porch with a bowl and pretended to check her mailbox. She didn't pretend very well. Claire glanced over my shoulder, then back at me. You're going to blow up our life over email settings, she said. I'm going to rebuild my life over what those settings mean, I said, and walked inside. That afternoon, I moved half my clothes into 2 big suitcases and slid them into the back of the garage behind the tool bench. I took my passport and my birth certificate from the hall drawer, where they should never have been, and put them in the fireproof box in my truck. I booked a month-to-month apartment in a converted mill downtown with tall windows and ugly carpet I knew I'd cover with drop cloths anyway. I scheduled movers for the 14th day, not a weekend, not a time anyone would notice. I told no one except Evan and Marissa. On the 8th day, Claire tried the second soft turn, overcorrection. She was home when I got back from the studio. Dinner on the table, my favorite song low in the background, a joke about the book club's intensity. I was harsh, she said, sliding a plate toward me. I want to make it up to you. Let me help with your portfolio. We can write that statement together. Appreciate the gesture, I said, staying standing. I've got it. She reached for my sleeve. Let me in, Nate. I'm trying. You're trying to fix optics, I said. I don't need optics. I need honesty. Did you mess with my emails? Her hand dropped. This is what I mean. You rush to blame. I look at facts, I told her. And I adjust. I'm offering a reset and you're throwing it in my face. You're offering a pocket with a hole, I said. I don't carry things in those. Her eyes hardened. You want me to beg? No, I said. I want you to respect that I'm not 12. She turned off the music with one jab. Then eat alone. I've been practicing, I said, and went to the garage. On the 10th day, I met with Marissa in her office with plain art and a quiet humming fridge. She listened to the story like she was measuring space for furniture. You don't want litigation, she said finally. You want clean lines. Right, I said. I'm not out to scorch earth. I'm out to keep my dignity and my work. You can set terms by how you act, not what you threaten. How long have you tolerated this dynamic? Long enough to recognize patterns, I said, watching the light off her pen. I should have moved 6 months ago when I noticed the budget drift and the calendar load. People give space for love, she said. Love is not invisibility, I answered. She nodded once. Then here's what we do. You separate finances fully. You secure your housing. You move in daylight, quietly, and you leave a clear, brief note with logistics and next steps. You do not debate. That's my lane, I said. Any safety concerns? She asked. None. Just pride. Then we're good, she said. Send me the list of jointly held items you intend to leave. Keep anything that is obviously yours and not disputed. Photograph what you leave. Keep your voice level. And do not get hooked by last-minute emotion. I don't take hooks, I said. She smiled like she'd heard that before. Everyone thinks that. Remember the timeline. Day 14. When I came out, Evan was leaning against my truck eating a sandwich. He held out the other half. I'm not your wife, he said, but I made you lunch. I smirked. You're already better at it. What's next? He asked. Storage unit, keys to the new place, and letting myself be underestimated for 3 more days. You good? I'm good, I said. The quiet's working for me. On the 12th day, Claire tried a public flex. We ended up at the Petersons' new patio because I'd agreed months earlier and I wanted one clean scene to show I wasn't hiding. The crowd was the usual. Todd with the lawn jokes, Denise with the recipes, 2 of Claire's book club ringers perched like judges. Todd clapped me on the shoulder. Nate, did they finally let you out of the studio? Parole hearing went well, I told him. Claire floated over with a plastic cup. Look who remembered we have friends. Look who remembered I exist, I replied. She rolled her eyes for the audience. Don't be dramatic. Everybody knows artists need attention. Denise shifted like she'd stepped on a marble. I kept my voice even. I don't need attention. I need basic respect. That's not the same thing. One of the book club women, the blonde from the first night, chimed in. Sometimes men need training. I tilted my head. Dogs need training. Language, Claire said sweetly. We're just talking about gratitude. I set my cup on the ledge. Gratitude without agency is flattery. Todd let out a low whistle, like he'd heard a good line at a bar. Claire smiled too wide. Anyway, she said, turning to the group, Nate's been a little sensitive lately. We're giving him space. Translation, I said, calmly. There's a 30-day stunt to teach me my place. It has done the opposite. Denise fiddled with her napkin. Claire leaned in close, smile glued, voice a whisper only I could hear. You're making me look bad, she said. No, I answered just as quietly. You're doing that fine without me. She straightened. If you loved me, you'd play along. If you respected me, you'd stop playing. The blonde cleared her throat to break the moment. Claire, do you need help inside? Claire took the out. She brushed my arm, not affectionate, more like checking if I'd flinch, and went with them. Todd slid to my side. You want me to invent a reason to pull you out? He asked. I blew out a breath. No, I'm good. You two okay? I looked him dead in the eye. We will be, one way or another. When we got home, Claire set her purse down and aimed for round 2. You embarrassed me. I told the truth, I said. You could have backed me in public and corrected me in private. If you wanted private, you wouldn't have started this in my living room with a crowd. She rubbed her temple. You are impossible. Not to everyone, I said. Not anymore. The 13th day, I boxed up my darkroom gear. I took the framed print of my father's hands off the hallway wall and replaced it with a blank square. I left the old dishes, the couch she picked, the guest room set, the rugs. I left enough to make the house look full and empty at the same time. I brought the mover's truck to the next block and loaded from the garage while Claire was at her club. Evan labeled boxes like a surgeon. We finished in under an hour. At dawn on the 14th, I put my key in the garage remote on the kitchen island with the note. Short, 7 lines, no accusations. It listed what bills I'd continue for 90 days, what I'd moved, the address where she could ship any stray mail, and one line that mattered. I will not live where I am treated as a piece of furniture. I didn't sign it with love. I signed it with my name. Before I walked out, I took one last pass through the rooms. Habit, not sentiment. In the bedroom, I glanced at the nightstand. Claire's phone lit up with a notification from the book club thread. Remember the 30 days? It read. Don't fold. I unlocked the front door, stepped into the morning, and shut it behind me. The clicks sounded like a clean cut. At noon, while I was hanging prints in the mill apartment, Claire's text finally came through. 3 in a row. Where are you? You're being childish. Come home and stop this. I typed slowly. You wanted silence. I took it. Keep the house. I'll keep my self-respect. The passwords you changed are yours now. The ones I changed are mine. If you need to coordinate logistics, email me at my address. No more group tactics. No more silent rules. She called. I let it go to voicemail. Then another text. If you don't come back today, don't come back at all. I leaned on the windowsill and watched a delivery truck idle in the alley. When I answered, I didn't pat it. I'm not coming back. She sent one more. So that's it. That's it. You can keep the silence. I'm keeping my life. For 2 weeks, she sent versions of the same message, bargaining disguised as orders, then orders disguised as care. I forwarded anything logistical to Marissa's office. I didn't answer the rest. Evan came by with takeout and helped me rig an improvised darkroom with blackout cloth. He looked around the mill apartment at the high ceilings and the ugly carpet weed tamed with canvas. It's you, he said. It's quiet, I answered. On the first Friday in July, I stood in the middle of the gallery with a plastic cup and watched a stranger lean in to read my name under the welding mask print. The curator introduced me to a couple from out of town who bought both pieces without asking for a discount. Evan grinned like he owned the wall. After the crowd thinned, the curator handed me a folded envelope. Not bad for someone who doesn't check his email, she teased. Funny story, I said. I do now. A week later, I bought a used truck that actually started when I turned the key and didn't smell like rain. I found a coffee shop on the corner where the morning light fit my head better than our old kitchen ever had. On a Saturday, I met Leah, a project manager who laughed at my sarcasm without trying to domesticate it. We took it slow because that's what made sense. She asked about my work before she asked about my availability. That was new. Word came back through the neighborhood string that Claire had kept the house, but took on too much of the monthly load, and the book club thinned when their stunt made husbands balk. The summer dinner invites dried up. She posted photos with captions about fresh starts and finding self, and maybe she meant them. I didn't request a seat for that show. One afternoon, months out, Mrs. Patel sent me a message. Saw your name in the paper. Congratulations. I typed back my thanks. Later that day, Claire emailed me 3 sentences about a package of mine that arrived there. No greetings. No sign-offs. Just logistics. I gave her the address and a time window when the building door would be open. She sent back, fine. The box showed up 2 days later with nothing else inside it except what I'd ordered. It was the quietest conversation we ever had, and the healthiest. A man has to draw his lines and then move his feet. I did. Not with shouting. With calendars and keys and my name on a note. People like to make love complicated because it gives them cover. It's simpler. Either you're seen or you're not. Either your work gets forwarded or it gets buried. Either your partner builds you or they rearrange you. The last thing I heard from Claire was a message forwarded by accident to the old shared email I kept only for utilities. We lost him, she wrote her group, and in the end, he didn't even fight. She meant it as a lament. I read it as proof. I didn't fight because I wasn't in a contest. I left because a grown man doesn't stay in a room where he's expected to beg for eye contact. And he doesn't explain it 3 times. He explains it once. Then he gets on with it. Now my mornings start with light through tall windows, not with a chore list in a voice that isn't mine. My afternoons smell like developer and coffee. My evenings are friends on a deck, or Leah sitting cross-legged on a canvas drop cloth, asking about the way a hand tells its own story if you bother to look. When I walk into my place, the walls know my name. That's not poetry. That's a fact you can live inside. If there's a moral, it fits on a postcard. If someone tries to make you invisible to save a plan that only works if you shrink, don't argue about the plan. Walk off their stage. Let the silence they chose do its real job. Let it show you what you are without them. Then go be that man, fully, where you're seen.